This man walked into court smiling, but less than 10 minutes later, Judge Judy looked him dead in the eyes and shattered both sides of the story with a single sentence. Maybe they'll believe you. I don't. The courtroom went silent. No yelling, no dramatic confession, no crying witness, just silence. Because everyone in that room realized something terrifying. Neither side could prove the truth. And Judge Judy was furious. It started like a modern romance that looked perfect on the outside. Judge Judy listened patiently as Caitlyn Collins sat confidently at the plaintiff's table. She was calm, polished, and prepared with folders full of printed text messages. Across from her sat Gabriel Womack, her ex-boyfriend, leaning back in his chair with crossed arms and a tight grin that looked more defensive than relaxed. Months earlier, the two had been inseparable. Friends described them as intense, passionate, and constantly together. They traveled together, spent nights out together, and posted smiling photos online that made them look like a perfect couple. But behind closed doors, things were already falling apart. Money entered the relationship, and once money enters love, everything changes. According to Caitlyn, Gabriel came to her in December desperate for help. He supposedly needed cash immediately. Bills were piling up, pressure was mounting, and he promised her he would repay every cent. She claimed the first amount was $2,000. At the time, she trusted him completely. Why wouldn't she? He was her boyfriend. She said she transferred the money because she believed in him. She believed they had a future together. She believed his promises. But months passed. No repayment came. Then came another request. More money, more excuses, more promises. By the time their relationship finally exploded, Caitlyn claimed Gabriel owed her $3,500, and she wanted it back. But Gabriel's version of the story was completely different. He claimed the money was never a loan. According to him, the money was part of the relationship. Gifts, shared expenses, support between partners. Nothing unusual for two people dating seriously. Then he dropped the accusation that changed the entire courtroom atmosphere. He claimed that after the breakup, Caitlyn refused to return his belongings, not small items, important personal property, and according to Gabriel, she made one thing crystal clear. If he wanted his stuff back, he had to pay her. To him, that wasn't debt collection. That was extortion. Suddenly, the courtroom transformed from a simple loan dispute into something much darker. Judge Judy narrowed her eyes immediately. She had seen hundreds of couples weaponize breakups before. Angry exes, fake promises, emotional revenge disguised as lawsuits, and she hated all of it. Caitlyn tried to stay composed as the judge questioned her. "When and why did you make your first loan?" Judge Judy asked sharply. Caitlyn explained the December payment. She spoke carefully, trying to sound organized and believable. Then came the question that changed everything. "Show me the check." The room froze. Caitlyn hesitated. She admitted she didn't have one. Judge Judy stared at her. The judge's expression shifted instantly from curiosity to skepticism. Because to Judge Judy, evidence is everything. Not feelings, not stories, evidence. "You're a smart lady," the judge said coldly. "You have a checking account?" Caitlyn quietly answered yes. "Then you write a check, and on the check you say loan." But there was no check, no signed agreement, no contract, no repayment schedule, nothing, only text messages. Caitlyn quickly tried to recover. She explained that Gabriel had repeatedly promised to repay her through texts. She believed those messages proved the money was borrowed. Finally, she thought she had regained control. Then Judge Judy asked the date. The repayment message was sent on June 9th, but Caitlyn had filed her small claims case only days later. That detail immediately bothered the judge. Why wait 6 months? Then suddenly rush to court? Something wasn't adding up. Judge Judy leaned forward. After 6 months? What prompted you to file? That's when Caitlyn introduced the real bombshell. She claimed Gabriel started harassing her after promising repayment. Worse, she alleged he filed a false police report against her and suddenly denied owing her money at all. Now the courtroom energy shifted again. The audience leaned in. False police reports are serious. Judge Judy immediately demanded to see the documents. Caitlyn confidently handed them over. For a few seconds, the courtroom was completely quiet, except for paper shuffling. Judge Judy read carefully. Gabriel sat motionless. Caitlyn looked certain she had finally won. Then came the moment nobody expected. Judge Judy slowly lowered the papers. Her face showed absolutely no sympathy. None. She looked directly at Caitlyn and destroyed the entire case in one sentence. I'm sending you back to small claims court. Caitlyn blinked in confusion. She clearly hadn't expected that response. Judge Judy continued. You go back to small claims court with these documents. Maybe they'll believe you. Then came the line that hit like a hammer. I don't, the audience gasped. Even Gabriel looked surprised, because Judge Judy wasn't saying Gabriel was innocent. She was saying Caitlyn failed to prove her case, and in her courtroom, proof mattered more than emotion. The biggest shock was still sinking in. After all the accusations, all the drama, all the claims of harassment, false reports, unpaid loans, threats, and stolen property. Neither side had airtight evidence. Judge Judy had seen this exact disaster before. Relationships built on trust, collapsing into legal warfare once love disappeared. Caitlyn believed promises were enough. Gabriel believed verbal understandings protected him. Both were wrong. As the bailiff dismissed the parties, the tension in the room remained heavy. Caitlyn looked stunned. Gabriel looked relieved but unsettled. Nobody truly won. The money issue remained unresolved. The emotional damage was permanent. And the courtroom learned one brutal lesson. Love may run on trust, but courts run on evidence. The case instantly became unforgettable because people watching realized how easily relationships can become legal nightmares. One moment you're helping someone you loved. The next moment you're standing in court trying to prove what was a gift, what was a loan, and what was revenge. Judge Judy's final message was crystal clear. If you loan money, document it. If you share property, prove ownership. And if a relationship turns toxic, emotions alone will never win a courtroom battle. Because once love dies, every text message becomes evidence, every promise becomes suspicious, and every breakup can turn into war.